What's up guys, it's Drac, and this is the Mega Thunderhawk. Now they can't all be amazing and they can't all be my favorites. This is the latest in a long line of longest Nerf blaster gimmicks, and that's really what this blaster boils down to. It's 3 gimmicks, none of which did well on their own. So one of which is the longest Nerf blaster gimmick. That's been done ad nauseum. It might sell to like prop makers. Obviously did very well for the Centurion because the Centurion is a hot garbage blaster that still sold well. It's also deployable, which I like to say deplorable because the Deploy is one of the worst, if not the worst, modern Nerf blaster. Like as far as in-strike blasters go, it's easily, hands down, the worst of the regular yellow blasters. But that is the other gimmick, and then it's got the Harmonica Clip. A lot of people want to pretend that it's a magazine because they're dumb. I don't know why people who don't understand firearms terms or even toy terms want to fight with me about that, but it has a Harmonica Clip in it. Now, the Harmonica Clip in my mind is just awful design because it gives you inconsistency in your profile of your blaster, and it just looks awful and it's awkward to use and it's hard to reload. When you consider that also it's proprietary, I have no idea why it was chosen over the Centurion magazines, which while not ridiculously plentiful or ever sold separately, Hasbro, it was at least available, and that would give you some sort of cross-platform consistency between the two. So this is that egregious, monstrous bolt action, but we do have these. These are the coolest thing about the blaster, in my opinion, is that now, in theory on shelves, we should have a bunch of these. So these are Mega Accustrike darts, and they're just, in my mind, a strictly better Mega Dart. I think that these will quickly become the default or most desirable of the Mega Darts. They might not whistle. They don't whistle at all, so they're not going to whistle the same way, but even though they don't have the Accustrike fins, their overall aerodynamic profile should be better. Now, once you throw this on, you are pretty committed. Why is mine already attached? Mine is pre-put together. Is this because mine is a pre-sample? Am I doing something wrong? This is frustrating. Does it unscrew? There it is. Okay, this one is screwed together, so that's good to know. This is the first one I've built. I probably could have checked the instructions, but instructions are for Lego nerds. I'm sorry, Lego nerds. I love Legos and the instructions, but I don't like them for Nerf blasters. I feel like at this point I should have a pretty good handle on how they work. That is smart though. No more breaking these off with claw hammers to get them apart. So, slides out, and there's our gimmick, boys. It is long. It's ridiculously long. It's the longest Nerf blaster of all time, unless you throw 30 modulus barrel extensions on a modulus, but why would you ever do that? You'd have to be really, really dumb. So let's take this weird Harmonica Clip and this ridiculous blaster outside, because frankly I don't want to be shooting it in a room that it's almost too big for, and I'll tell you what it's like ergonomically, aesthetically, and performance wise. Let's go. Alrighty, so right off the bat I want to point out that it's kind of frustrating that as soon as this Harmonica Clip is installed, there seems to be no removing it. I'm not entirely sure what the retention mechanism is because I just threw it in there, but very frustrating that you can't get rid of this. Once it's in, it is in. Now, priming comes back. This is not a return mechanism, so then you come forward, and then firing. It isn't even remarkable performance. Like, I want to say that the Centurion hits harder than this. Now, it does actuate on that front prime. Let's fold this up. From a standing shot, we're getting ranges of slight angle. Why can we not clear the fence? Now, it is pretty accurate. We hit that pole twice, but it's pretty unbelievable that a Mega Blaster is barely breaking 30 feet with a slight angle. Like, performance-wise, I have a hard time believing that this is hitting anything. It's not even going to hit the fence? How much do I have to... Can I even hit the head? Maybe if we just arc it in there. Like, look at this, guys. Okay, well, that was slightly better. So, Maybe these darts, while more accurate, are just not very good at all. Let's go grab some regular mega darts and keep this party going, because this is so far pretty embarrassing. Alrighty, so the ranges aren't super amazing with these mega darts that are Accustrike styled. Maybe they'll be slightly better. Oh man, that's also frustrating. It is impossible to load all of the cylinders unless it's completely in the emptied position. So all I'm saying there is that because of the way this is designed, it has to be all the way through to access all of these ports. And it's harder to load if it's attached to the blaster. Just like a lot of design choices that I wish made more sense. Maybe the people who designed this never actually played with the Centurion. But the larger and more unwieldy your blaster is, the harder it is to do things like reload and take cover, and this is just that taken to the nines. So let's throw it back, see if we can get decent performance out of it now that it's, excuse me? Okay, it did not. Okay, so if the magazine isn't actually engaged, if it's all the way through, they don't fire at all. It doesn't click through or anything, so I think now we should be chambered. Well, that was significantly better. So with real mega darts, it actually performs. Man, why did they change so much? So we would be remiss if we didn't throw this forward. Now, again, this is not spring activated. This mechanically must be thrown forward. Would it be... Since the stroke is so small, it doesn't impact any of these running rails at all. And it really just, like, it's gimmick for gimmick's sake, guys. You throw this out there, you get something really far out in front. Makes your weight profile significantly worse. Now we're all the way out there. At least it is performing slightly better. Firing for distance is much better now. You're getting that distinct mega pop with these darts, but they're curving right into the ground. That is so wild. These are genuine megas too, not the knockoffs, but so it seems like you have to choose range that's at least decent enough to hit something more than 20 feet away from you, or accuracy such that you can actually hit it. This blaster is not my favorite. At 50 United States dollars, it might be a fun cosplay piece, but I would not recommend it for any sort of blaster enthusiast. I think that if you want the shell for an integration, you should wait for it to go on sale. I think that if you want it for performance sake, if you're just the guy who needs big, bad blasters, get a Mastodon, because this is not doing the job. Also, I feel like you run the slight risk of pinching yourself the way that this is designed if you're constantly sliding forward and back. The only redeeming factor for this, the only thing that I think is cool, is that the friction fit is just such that if you throw out like that, you almost get a lightsaber style deploy action, which is much cooler than the original deploy going from briefcase to blaster mode. But Steven shouldn't even be very afraid of this thing because it doesn't hit that hard and I can only get him up close. Would not recommend for HVZ, would not recommend for super stock play, would only recommend for modifications and or cosplay potential, and even in modification mode. Like, I will only make a mod guide for this blaster if this video gets like 5,000 likes. Like, there's just, and I'll be miserable doing it. Like, why? It seems like, based on how this is coming forward, on how our stroke is inside here, and you can see these plasticky gears, the plunger is going to be pretty small. I imagine it's only about that big, and just comparing that to even old Mega Blasters, or even something like the Longshot, it's just embarrassing. So, do not recommend the Thunderhawk, but that's an easy do not recommend. I was really hoping that I could like this blaster from the get-go, and it just let me down over and over and over again. Lots of choices in design wound up translating to a blaster that's neither ergonomically sound nor functionally unique in any sort of way. It just does one thing pretty badly, and its gimmick does not translate very well into at least the enthusiast market. If you think that I'm wrong, please let me know. Like, I would love
feedback to the contrary, feedback that lets me know why people buy blasters like this and what makes them special to you if you really like the oversized, monstrous, gimmicky blasters. But that is my review of the Thunderhawk. Luckily, I got to review a lot of blasters that I really did truly enjoy. As always, much love. Nerf on, Drac out.